everyone, welcome back to Wildwood Cottage and welcome back to Wales. It's lovely to have you here. Hope you're all doing well and I hope you're all having a good week. Stripe and I are sat out in the yard. He's just got up out of bed and he's playing, he's being a monkey, he's being in plant pots, he's messing about with everything he can find because I'm talking to you and he wants my attention. Anyway, it's a bit colder here today. As you saw, we had a thunderstorm yesterday and it's cleared the air and it's gone really cold again. It's been beautiful the last week. And today it's gone windy and it's gone really cold. Excuse the camera shaking, but I'm quite cold, quite shivery. Today's jobs are covering up the cotoneaster to keep the hornets back, because those pesky European hornets are back. The ones that you were chasing me around last year, well, they're back. And I think they're nesting in the garage and I can't find out where they are at the moment. They were trying to get in the chimney and nest in the flue, but I lit a fire in the log burner on Thursday, I think that was, and I managed to evict them out. They didn't like the smoke, so I'm going to do that again today, probably tonight, just to make sure that they haven't been coming back sneakily when I haven't been looking. I've had a look around the garage and you know, I can't find any sign of any paper nests, but maybe it's a little bit early because they've only been back a week. I have seen the swallows around. They don't appear to be nesting in the garage, so maybe they're nesting next door, flying through the garage and coming and feeding in the field at the back. But it's still a delight to see them. It's still really nice to see them. Stripe is a bundle of energy today. He spent a lot of time in his crate over the weekend because of the wind. Not the wind, the heat. And he needed to be in his crate because of the heat, really. He just wouldn't stay out of the hot sun. So yeah, he's being a little monkey. But we're going to go into the garden and we're going to show you a few things, because I want to show you the rose that's in flower. I got my first rose in flower on Friday evening, and that was the 10th of May, I think, because it's the 13th today. And yeah, I'm really pleased. The roses are back. Loads of buds on all my rose bushes, so I'm very pleased about that. This week I'm going to try clearing the bit below the wall on the other side of the polytunnel so that I can get the victory garden up and running properly. And I haven't got the potatoes planted yet, so I thought we'd do them today, and I'm going to show you a little thing that I'm going to do, trying to plant some new potatoes in boxes. Excuse the noise. And I've also got a plan for my old pergola that my mum and dad gave me when they moved into their house where they are now. They gave me an old pergola out of the back and I haven't known what to do with it. Well, I was lying in bed last night with my sore arm and I was thinking, pergola, where can I put that? And then it suddenly dawned on me, there's some old windows in the garage that will probably never see the light of day and no one will ever use them. And the landlord did say I could make a greenhouse out of them. So I've decided I'm going to repurpose my pergola and make it into a little sunroom in the garden where I can sit, look at the flowers, look at the view, spend some time with Stripe, and if it's raining we can go up the garden, sit in there and get out of the rain, and I can take my spinning wheel and do some spinning, or my weaving loom, and do some weaving in there. It's only going to be a small space, but probably about 6 foot, 8 foot, something like that. It's only going to be small, so it's only going to be room for 2 chairs, me and the pup, and yeah, I'm going to have a look at that this week as well. So there's plenty going on, there's plenty to get stuck into, and I've got plenty to show you as well. So the new laptop has arrived. Oh, sorry. The new laptop has arrived. I'm just getting used to it at the moment, so I think I'm going to carry on making videos on my phone until I'm used to it. I've only just managed, I've only just managed to get into my Apple account because it wouldn't let me in. I've sorted that out today, so I'm going to be able to download some apps and then get stuck in to doing my YouTube channel. So yeah, that's it, I think, for now, all I can think of. So I'm just going to get my cup of coffee and then we're going to get the chickens out and then we're going to go up the garden. I'm going to go and have a look at where the pergola's going, and I'm going to talk you around the roses and show you a few things in the garden. So I'll see you in a minute. So this is what I've had to do to my cotoneaster to keep the hornets off. I've had to cover it with that fleece support for the polytunnel. And it was that close to the yard to where Stripe was playing. So I thought it was a easy, safe option. So that's keeping them out, I think. I can't see any in there. I can hear them. Right, so I've shown you this patch before, and this is the patch I'm thinking of. Just a sec. This is the patch I'm thinking of for putting the pergola. Now it's underneath this big tree, but most of the big branches have been cut off and nothing seems to grow. So I'm thinking of putting it on an angle, sort of a 45-degree angle. And then when the hedge has been cut, I'll be looking out that way, across the hills to that view over there. So there's not much in here, and what is in here I could probably work around. I've got a magnolia and I've got a few bedding plants. I've got an astilbe, which is just there. I've got a scabious, which is just there, and then a few wildflowers. There's also a rhododendron there, which is a wild one. But other than that, there's a flowering currant, and there's not much else in there, to be honest with you. I've never known what to do with it. So my thinking is I'm going to move all the dead nettle. I'm going to put some weed membrane over the top and some bark. And then I'm going to put the pergola in. Now I'll show you the pergola, just a sec. The chickens are in their little run. They have got water. They've only just gone in, so I'm going to go and get them their food. This is the pergola. They're the upright posts there. And then here, this is the top of the pergola. And then this is the across pieces, and then those get fixed into that. Now I'm thinking knocking these bits off, and just having flat posts across the top, and then putting a roof on and making it so it's watertight. So that's what I'm thinking with that. I might leave these little bits on the bottom, but take these bits off the top because they're not there for anything other than just to look at and to look nice, and give it a coat of paint. So I've got two of those. I've also got these decorative bits as well, so they can go back on. And yeah, put it down here. Been a good year for azaleas and rhododendrons this year. Look at this one. It's beautiful. Look at that. I've had this one in for 4 years, and this is the first year it's flowered. And I've got a lovely white one. Got two of those. I've got one either side of this rose walk here. This is going to be a rose arch. And I've got Lady of the Lake. I've got one there and one there. And then I've got Lark Ascending there. David Austin again. And there was an arch here, as I said in my last video. But I had to take it down when we had the work done on these trees here. So all the wood is still here. And I'm going to rebuild it and pop it back up. And then we'll be able to see the azaleas underneath. I've got a Waija just here, this one here, and I think this one's called Ruby, and that's doing really well. And then we've got Lady of the Lake and Lark Ascending, so I think that's going to be really nice. My apple tree died off, so I might put a clematis on that and let that grow on there. I don't know what's going on with this. It does seem to have new shoots there, but it just keeps dying back and then producing new shoots. So I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know whether it's the weather or what. But there's another one under there. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? But the one that was down here is finishing now. All the flowers are starting to die off. But it's looking really pretty. I've got a white foxglove and I didn't plant that. They're usually pink. But that's going to be white. This border's filling out lovely. I'm really pleased with it. It's done really well so far. Look at these aqualegias, aren't they gorgeous? They're beautiful. And this stock is gorgeous. I mean, just look at that. Lovely. Really like it. Really like it. And then over here, this is where I'm thinking of putting the shepherdess rose, just here. And then I can see it from the house. It'll be sheltered from the wind, so it's not going to get battered by the wind. But I haven't decided yet. So at the moment, it's still in its little pot. Not shepherdess, sorry, skylark. But I've got a rose I want to put on here, but I need to do this fence first. But yeah, again, it's just more jobs. It's just another thing that needs doing. Hey ho. Right. Little Stripe's waiting. He's always waiting. This cistus has been lovely. I bought this last year, but it's nearly finished now. And as I say, the magnolia's finished. Right. Just want to show you this as well. This is another rhododendron I've got. I bought them last year when I went with my mother-in-law to a garden centre when I was taking her home one day. And look how blousy that is. Isn't it beautiful? They were only £15 each. And they're going to grow 2.5 metres tall, so it's going to grow up high there. So that's going to be lovely. I don't know what ones they are. It doesn't say. I think the label's blown off, but isn't that gorgeous? Absolutely beautiful. So the rhododendrons and azaleas, as I say, have done really well this year. I'm really pleased with this little border here. Needs a bit more work, but maybe I can move what I'm moving from there to here and let that fill up this border. So I've done the path now. This path along here is going to lead into the woodland bit that's there. So when all that wood's moved, it's going to be a nice little woodland area under the trees. So I think that pergola converted into a little summer house is going to be lovely. So that's what I'm going to do today. So I've done the path. Now I just need to clear all this rubbish out, and then I can plant that in there, as I say. And then this border will be nice and clear. I'm going to put the magnolia in a pot for now until I decide what to do with it, because I might pop it on this edge here. And then that can mark the beginning then of going into there. So yeah, that's my thoughts for that. So I'm just going to pop the dog away for sleep, and then I'm going to get stuck in to digging all this lot out. Right, so it's the next day and I've been in the garden putting my pergola up. It's one my mum and dad gave me, and it's been sat in the garden for the last 3 or 4 years, and probably about 3 years. But I put it up and I've looked at it from the house. Well, I put the front up and I don't like it in the spot it's in, because it looks too modern. The garden's very wild, and I use a lot of tree branches to build my structures. There's a rusty arch which looks old and like it's been there for donkey's years, and it just doesn't go. Really just doesn't go. It's more of a Mediterranean style, and I'm thinking taking it down and popping it by the shed, which is what I originally planned to do with it. I was going to put it outside the shed and make it into a dye space for doing my natural dyes and my acid dyes during the rain. And then I can set my cookers up there. I can put leave the compost bins there, set up a chair, let the chickens out, dog can be in the shed, and I can get on with some dyeing down there. So, because the dyes make a lot of smell when you're using what's it called, alum, and you're using the acid dyes, you need to be in a well aerated environment. So I think that's going to be perfect. I am going to put a plastic screen across the side, and then when it's really raining hard, I can be in there and I can put the plastic screen on, and that'll keep all the rain out. So I think that's what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to turn you around and I'm going to show you it, and I'm going to show you where I'm thinking of put it and my plans for a new pergola, so I've got somewhere to sit in the garden. At the moment I'm sat under the big tree, this big tree here, and yeah, I've shown you this tree before, but there is a little bench on it. I'm going to leave the little bench there. I need to cut the hedge. Can't see over the top of the hedge. Normally I can see over to the fields, but the hedges are getting a little tiny bit tall, so I need to do them. Yeah, so I'm just going to turn you around. I'll show you the pergola, and I'll show you what my plans are. Right, so this is the pergola that I put up yesterday. I don't like the style of it. I might try and change the style of it, take those bumps off the bottom. They came off the top, and then I'm going to here, I've got lots of wood leaned up against the trees drying out, and I think I'm going to build a pergola there, but I'm going to build it out of tree branches. I'm going to put a plastic roof on it, and I'll be able to sit underneath it when it's raining, do some spinning, do some knitting, have a couple of benches, a couple of chairs in there, and both me and my husband can sit there on a summer's evening and enjoy the view, and maybe even have a fire pit there. That'd be nice. So yeah, this is going to come down. I'm going to take it down now. I have got a sore elbow, so I've got to be careful how much I can do. I've got a bandage on it at the moment. So yeah, this is going to come down, and excuse all the noise, Gertie's having a bit of a strop today because she hasn't done her egg yet. Coming down here, and Gertie, do you mind? Grace is in the nest box and these three aren't impressed. Are you? Oh, Grace is out of the nest box now. Little Gertie here, the second one along, she's been eating the eggs. She eats Daisy's egg for some reason. She doesn't like Daisy, been pecking her head, and now she's eating Daisy's eggs. So I need to try and curb that. But I'm going to let them out in a minute in their little run. But yeah, this is the space I'm going to put that pergola. I'm going to do it today. I'm going to do it now. In here is all the chicken compost I took out late last year. So all this is going to have finished rotting now. So all this is chicken compost. And it's all a bit dry. But it's been under that sheet for a while. So this is going to go round the roses. As you can see, it's rotting down nicely. So I'm going to mix it with a bit of compost. I'm going to put it around the roses, and it's also going to go in the polytunnel ready for the vegetables, what's left. And then down here, as you can see, Mr. Mole's been making himself a home around my compost bin. There's that much compost in there, you know, it's coming out by itself. Look at all that in there. So I'm going to try harvesting some off the bottom today, from down there. And see if I can get some on the fruit cage, because the fruit cage, as you can see, is flattened. But the fruit needs to be have some compost on it so it'll grow nicely. There's lots of currants on there at the moment, and I'm hoping the birds aren't going to get in. Anyway, I'm getting distracted again. Yeah, this is where that pergola is going to go. It's going to go at the front here. It's 7 foot tall, so it's going to come up slightly higher than there. On the roof, incidentally, I can't stop the water getting in, but what I've decided to do is cover it with some plastic and do a living roof, and just put some inch batten, about that wide, on the top, secure it onto the sides with some wider wood, fill it with compost, put plastic over the roof first, then fill it with some compost, just a thin layer, and then put some shallow rooting rockery plants in, and I think that'll look really nice. It'll feed the bees, won't take on too much water, and it'll mean that the water will go through slower instead of trailing all down the garden in the winter. So it's just going to act as a filter for the rainwater, and it'll look nice in the summer. So that's what's going to happen here. The pergola's going up here today. I'm going to do that now. It shouldn't take me long. I've got all the pieces together, just need to screw them in, and get the roof sorted out as well this week while the weather's nice. So that's my plans. So that's my plans for the garden for the rest of the week. Yeah, I think I'm just going to be busy getting all the bulk of the stuff done. I need to finish the hedge as well. All the hedges need finishing. There's no birds nesting in the garden this year, as I said. So I can quite happily get on with the hedges. I've only got an old 1970s hedge trimmer at the moment because my other two are broken. So I've just got to make do amend and make do with what I've got. The border's looking beautiful. Do you want me to turn you around and show you? There you go, there's my border. Isn't it looking beautiful? Look at that. As I say, the azalea's finishing now. The flowers are starting to die off. Look at all this new growth here. So it's looking like it's going to be even better next year. I don't know if it can get better than this year. It's beautiful. Right, so I'm going to get this pergola down. I'm going to get on with it now. And I'll show you later when it's all up and all sorted. And when I'm putting up the tree branch pergola in the garden there. Because I've got clematis to go on. I've got honeysuckle. I've got jasmine. So I can grow a load of plants around it to keep the weather out. And it'll give me a nice bit of colour as well. And somewhere nice to sit. I've also got a rose. So I think I might pop a rose over the top. We shall see. We shall see. Right, time to crack on. That's the space cleared again now. So what I've got is, I've got branches like this, and what I want to do is, I think this is silver birch, and then I've got other things as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that long piece on the top, because it's 7 foot, the space is 7 foot by 7 foot. So a bit out of breath after doing that. So I'm going to go around, I'm going to have a look and see what I've got, because I've got other stuff over here. This is the rest of the pergola that's going by the shed. I've got this long branch here, got another long branch in there. So I'm just going to have a look and see what I've got and go through. Need to finish off my fences, but just have a look. I've got all those branches over there as well, and try and put things together. This one is one I've already done. This is a rose arch, and that one there is also a rose arch. So as you can see, I do like building them. I might build another archway here, along here, leading you into the wildlife part, but we shall see. But I've got another couple of big branches up there, and I've got this wood pile here as well I can search through, and there's also the wood pile in the field as well that I can have a look through. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to do now. I need to finish off my shed, my tool shed, and put that door back on. And I'm going to take that brown roof off, and I'm just going to put black plastic right across the loss, I think. But we shall see, we shall see. It's not strong enough to take a living roof, but I'm just going to go through all my wood, see what I can find, and then start putting this pergola up and this pergola up. So that's going to be my projects for this morning. Right, so this is my selection of branches. Ignore those bits, they're off the other pergola. But I've got some nice pieces really. And you know, I'm not even sure I'm going to cut them. I think I'm just going to put them up as they are. And then the birds can rest on the top of them. And when I'm growing things like clematis and that up, they can grow right up to the top. And I think that'll be really nice. So yeah, these are my pieces of wood here. So I just need to sort out what I'm going to use first, and I think I'm going to use this piece of silver birch, this big piece here, and then I've got that straight piece there, that could be the main piece, and see what other piece I've got. So that'll be the 4 straight pieces, then all the others are going to go on the top. And what I'm going to do as well is, like I've done, just show you, like I've done on these, I've just used straight battening and painted it green. Now I'm going to do the same again on the pergola there, because I think this just adds a good bit of strength in the wind. And okay, it blows about in the wind, but it just gives it a good bit of strength. So I'm using Douglas fir. This is all Douglas fir from my trees here. So it's all staying within the garden, and I just love that idea of keeping everything in the garden and letting it stay where it was. So I'm not taking anything away from the garden then, and it's adding a second beauty into the garden by becoming something else. So I really love that idea. I'm going to build a bit of a fence with all these branches because I don't need them all. I've got a shed load of branches down the bottom end there that are a lot easier to cut up. And yeah, that's the idea for that. So I'm just going to have a look. I've got this as well to show you. This piece of wood here. Now, it's got a lovely curve on it here. It's wider at the top. I'll show you. It's wider at the top, narrower at the bottom. And it's got these lovely knots. Now, this came out of the field waste, the stuff that's in the field that the farmer burns. Now, that is about 7 foot long. So that's going to be a front piece on the front of the pergola, and I think that's going to look really, really nice. So instead of using the 2x2 battening, the 2x1 battening on both sides, I'm going to use it on one side and use this beautiful piece as the other. So that's that. It's all nicely bleached with the weather. It looks absolutely gorgeous. And then I've got some other little pieces of wood for gap fillers, because I like to use on the top of my arches, I use these branches along the top. So yeah, so all this has come out of the garden, nothing's been brought in, and other than the odd few pieces from the field, which it's still within reach of the garden. So I'm just going to sort out what's going to go on the post and start putting them up. So Stripey's in his new little setup. We turned the plastic garden table upside down and put his bed in it. It was an idea I've seen on the internet. What a great idea that is. And his bed just fits. He's not impressed with the planes. He's going back to bed in half an hour. He looks tired today, but he hasn't been in the sun yet. So I thought I'd give him some vitamin D. Right, so it's gone quite cold here now, and I'm just going to go and do the tea. But I've been doing the boundary fence, and as you can see, I've built my pergola behind out of tree branches from the garden. Really pleased with that. I'll show you around it in a sec. And I've been doing the boundary fence behind you, so I'll just take you around and let you have a look and see what I've been up to. Right, so I've been fencing off all this boundary fence here because it was only about less than a metre high. It's a lot of stripe. If he got out, he'd be able to get over there and away across the fields. So it's all nice and high now. It's a good 5 foot high all the way along. I've done to the gate. I've started painting the gate, and I've started doing along there as well. I've got to do along to that corner just there, and then start coming along the boundary fence here to the field. And this is my pergola so far. So what I'm doing is I'm going to put branches along the back, and I've got a climbing rose here looking a bit distravelled at the moment, but it's just been planted, so it needs a bit of a water, but it is a rambling rose, so I'm going to ramble that along the back and hopefully over the top. I'm just going to fix my shed door here, and this is my tool shed. I'm going to get a little stripe up. So the weather's changing a bit. We're forecast thunderstorms and rain tomorrow, so I'm glad I've got the bulk of that done. I'm just going to keep loading it with branches until it's covered, and then it's got plastic underneath to keep the rain out. So that's that. I think I'm just going to do these hedge tops, and then I can pop the bench in here and I'll be able to sit and look out at the view. So I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. It looks lovely. I've had this antler type branch for years. Oh, I got it off a lady when I was gardening, and it looks like an antler head, so I'm really pleased with that. I'm going to hang some things on it, but I just need to do a pathway through here into there and a pathway across there into there, because you know, if there isn't a path, someone's going to trample all over the plants and try and get in anyway. So I'm just going to do a little path into there with a bit of slate that is from the greenhouse floor, and finish it off and put some chip bark inside and a couple of flagstones to put the bench on. So I think it's going to look really nice, especially once the woodland bit takes up a bit behind all the rhododendrons, once they start coming through, like that beautiful red one there. I've got a nice white one at the back, and once all the wood's moved at the back, it is going to be a nice little woodland secluded area, and I'm going to be able to sit here with the spinning wheel and do some spinning or do some weaving and not get wet if it decides to rain. Ta-da! My new pergola. Hope you like it. Sorry about the plastic hanging down, but I need to redo the roof. But I'm going to put plastic on it, so if I get caught in the rain, I'm not going to get wet. But I'm really pleased with it. I'm so pleased with it. I've done some planting around it as well. I've put a rose in at the back, as I showed you earlier. But also, since I've done the earlier footage, I have also planted a waigia, the red ruby that I showed you that was on the path earlier. I've moved that round here now. And around it, I've put one of those cuttings of that rhododendron there. One of them there. I brought another rhododendron azalea round from round by the chickens. This one here. Over there, I've planted a white rhododendron, which is about 1.75 metres. So that's going to cover that space there when it grows, and they grow quite quickly. I've moved my magnolia and I put that here next to the arrow here. And I've replanted the shrubs. Unfortunately, we've had no rain, so I need to come out with a watering can, I think, and re-water. So all I've got to do in here is I'm going to put some weed membrane down and bring the bark round from round the front and pop some bark in there. And then this will be the entrance then. I've got a pathway here. I've got another pathway just round here. Let me show you that. Sorry about the noise. Another pathway just here. And then that's going to take you into the arch, into the pergola. I'm going to have a couple of chairs in there sit in there, and then when I've done the hedge, I'm going to have that view. And when it's a quiet day, it'll be a lovely place to sit when they're not in the back making beehives with the fan on like they are today, making a lot of noise. I think we'll leave it there for today because it's gone very noisy at the back. He's got the wood planer on now, so that's making quite a lot of noise. So I think we'll leave it there for today. The sun's gone and I've got to go and get the pup up. So yeah, I think that will be it for today. Back on Sunday with another video for you and show you the pergola all finished. I'm also going to do a video of recording me planting my potatoes because I'm going to try planting them in boxes as well as bags and have them outside the polytunnel. So I'll show you me doing that. I'm also going to have a little pond outside the polytunnel. Don't you, when you notice when we were in the Victory Garden, but there's an empty Belfast sink next to the door where the beans and the runner beans are. I'm going to do a little pond there, I think. Take some of the pond plants out of my ponds that I've already got, and I just like having water around. I think it's really nice, and I'm going to do that. I'm also going to move the pond that is here, Stripe likes to drink out of. I'm going to move that up to where the pergola is, and that's going to go in the pergola up the top so I can see the water when I'm sat in the pergola doing my spinning or my knitting. So yeah, I think that's it for today. If I get any footage of the swallows, I'll pop it in the next video for you. And I'm going to go and get on with doing my baking and getting the pup up. So I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy the rest of your week and I'll see you soon. If you have enjoyed my video, do like and subscribe. Do hit that notification bell and that'll tell you when I upload new videos. And I will see you again very soon. See you soon. Take care. Bye for now. Bye bye.